Hey everybody, welcome back. This is your girl Ayla Bell. And I've been getting a lot of compliments on my makeup at work in particular recently, and I've had a lot of requests of people asking me how I do my eyeshadow. So today's makeup tip tutorial, we are digging into eyeshadow. But first, I know that some of you are probably just moments away from going on a date. Maybe you're going to the club, out with friends, or some other special event. So to keep you guys from waiting, let's dig into the quick steps so that you can get the party started soon. Before we really dig into any makeup, we are going to get 4 colors. First, we want a nude for whatever your skin tone is, or a highlighter, a bright, vibrant color. We want black or a really dark neutral, and a mid-tone. Usually, like let's say I choose a bright red, I'm gonna look for a nice like burgundy, something in between black and whatever my bright color is gonna be. Step 1 to getting our eyeshadow done, primer. Honestly, primer has changed the game for me. I will never do eyeshadow again without primer. I particularly use this Urban Decay product. It is an anti-aging eyeshadow primer potion, and honestly, I love this. I apply it to my entire eyelid as well as up under the brow above the crease, maybe even sometimes under the eye. I find it just gives your colors and your eyeshadows lots of vibrancy, some real punch. They will look washed out without it, and even worse, they'll maybe only sit on your lid for an hour or two before crawling their way into the crease. Step 1, we are going to take our nude color and we are going to follow it all along the underside of the brow and the inside ridge of the nose. I tend to cake it on. I do not worry about fallout. I mean, it should match your face anyways, but I really cake it on. It will help us blend down the road. If you're going to be using highlighter, you're just going to take a tiny bit of it. We're going to dab it under the arch of the brow and the inside corner of the eye. That is it. Do not go too heavy with the highlighter. Step 3, we are going to take our bright, vibrant color. And as you can see, I punch it above the crease and I carry it right out to the extension of the brow, kind of following a similar shape to when we are shaping out our brows. I will also put some of the bright color on the lower lid if I am looking to add a little extra spice to my look. Step 4, I'm going to take black, especially like we're looking at smoky eyes here, and I will punch very heavily onto just above the lash line and along the lash line. Without dipping back into the pan, I will just wash it out, heavily saturated again along the lash line, and let it wash out as I cover the entire lid. We are not going to punch back into the palette unless we are repeating this process for the other eye. Step 5, we are going to take our mid-tone, dip into the pan, tap off. We don't want any excess with this one, and we are going to start off punching it into the crease just to make sure that the most saturation is sitting between the bright and the dark layers. I will then blend down into the black and then back up into the light. The key here is that we are really looking to blur the edges and blend, blend, blend. There should be no harsh lines between this mid-tone in the black and the mid-tone in the light. We really want to just keep layering and blending out so that it is seamless transition from the light to the mid to the dark. When our shadow is finally done, now is the moment that I will put on eyeliner. If you are struggling to perfect your eyeliner and feel very concerned about putting eyeliner on top of your shadow, then I suggest you look at my tutorials for doing flawless eyeliner. Honestly, the real key to making your shadows look awesome is to final touch frame it out with the liner. If you put the liner on first, the liner ends up getting washed out. I also just find, as you can see with this look here, that a nice clear liner really helps just frame, and like you could honestly have the messiest eyeshadow look going on in the world, and having a flawless eyeliner sitting on top of it will make it make sense. When all else fails, if you can't get your wings to look like sisters, you can always take a little more of your black and go in and just saturate right over the wings. This is always good technique to help prevent any transfer when you open your eyes as well. And just remember to blend everything out. We don't want any harsh lines between any of the colors. For added drama, take a eyeliner pencil and fill in your waterline. You don't always have to do it. There are some looks in specific that I think really shine without the lower lid. Complete the look by adding mascara as well as any foundation. I always try to do my eyes first just to make sure that if there is any fallout, I can make sure it is gone. But the way that I do my makeup, it seems to lock in pretty good and I don't deal with too much fallout. Ultimately, to get into eyeshadow theory, first I want to say that I am not good at all styles of eyeshadow. If you ask me to do a natural eye, I probably could not do it at all because I don't understand the point or like what I'm trying to achieve with doing natural makeup. And this is why I am really good with smoky eyes or dramatic, bold looks, because I understand the point of why we are doing that in the first place. It's just who I am. I'm a bit of a dramatic person. I'm a little over the top, and that is why I can do this look really well, because I am passionate about it and I've been learning about it pretty intensely. So with that as a bit of a disclaimer, if you are looking here for information about natural eyes, I'm sorry, this video just in general might not be the one for you. Maybe I'll try and do a video with a friend to understand and tackle what are we trying to achieve with natural eyes. So that brings us to step number 1 with bold, dramatic, smoky eyes. What are we trying to achieve? A lot of the times what we are trying to do is we want to add contrast, we want to add pop, say, hello, I'm here. But at the same time, we are wanting to make the eye look big. The big thing for me is when I'm working with my nudish color or my light shade, we are trying to make the eye look big with this. This is why we come down on the inside of the nose ridge and up over the eye. Now, I know that this might be a little contrary to some people because I know a lot of people will be like, well, a lot of the time when I'm trying to contour my face, I'm trying to lighten the center and darken the insides. You can go over that afterwards. This is just something that I use to create the smoke out effect and help make the eyelid in general look big. This is why I work with thinner eyebrows. I know I don't have any on at the moment, but I do work with more of like a 90s style thin penciled brow. It's something that I know works for me. It also helps give me a lot more real estate to make the eye look larger. From there, we want to have some pop. We want to say hello. We want something to be there. And even if you're working within neutral shades and you're doing a neutral smoky eye, you just need that go between highlight and dark contrast. So at the end of the day, the real estate is making the eye look larger. We're still working on that concept that the eye is large. So a neutral tone you can still do if you're doing like a mid-tone brown or a mid-tone between whatever your nude is to your black. For me, a lot of the times I like color. It's a fun way of coordinating. It's a fun way of playing off a concept. This eye look, for example, I always think of like an ice queen, something out of like a Disney film, a little villainesque, so to speak. I would be the same with reds, maybe a little fiery, still bringing in a bit of smoke in there. I do kind of an autumnal smoky eye where my lighter shade might actually be a bit of a golden. So the golden is the background, in which case the bright red comes onto, or maybe even just like a bit of a bruisey red, but still lighter. Yes, with medium shades, we are building up that real estate and giving a bit of pop. Then, of course, we have our contrast, and that is the dark. For me, I love having just a full dark lid. Something that can always be fun as well is I'll take this silver here, which is quite sparkly, I'll tap off on that because it can be a bit intense. You can go into the corner and then go up over your black or your dark lid, and that can help bring some light as well. Because another thing that seems to work a lot with lids, especially like my shape, everyone will have to understand their own shape, and that's something else I'll get into the theory here, is that for me what works is when my eyes are open and I'm looking at you, you can see a bit of my lid before it hoods. Not everyone has this. Some people, their lid completely disappears when they open their eyes. In that case, you're dealing with the real estate that you have just above the hood. Not everyone always has to deal with that, but that's something to be aware of. For me, because my eyes are open, by adding light to the lid and then having a really punchy dark crease, it can help create this really eye-popping, opening, large eye effect, because we're contouring where the lid is sitting on the eyeball. We're helping the sphere of the eye look large. The lid creases, but then it goes light again, so it still adds to the element that the eye as a whole is large. Adding some boldness on the edges and along the crease really helps add this boldness and just is accentuating the shapes of your face. And that really is kind of the thing here, is that it's really important to understand the shapes of your face. Experiment, explore with the shapes on your face. Do research onto what works for your shape. At the end of the day, I know that I can get really punchy with the lid as long as I go light, like lighter as I go from the crease. Something like I just described, something else that works for me is going dark right along the lash line and up into the crease and leaving the inside of the lid bright as well as just under the brows. That's something else that I find works well for me. Another way that you can do this, and something that might work well for other shapes, is you can also take this whole concept and kind of work in to out. So you can do the lights on the inner corner, the mid just kind of on the, I would say just on the outsides of where the iris sits when you're looking forward. And then on the very outside is where you can do your bold. And you can maybe bring that in along the lash line or along the crease if your eye again completely hoods, as a way of working with those elements. I really can't express enough that it really comes down to a lot of exploration, experimentation, and research in finding out what works well for your shape. This is my shape. There is some level of hooding. It's not completely hooded, but it's enough that I know if I don't wear something like primer, for example, I'm gonna end up losing all my eyeshadow at the end of the day, because even though I can look at you right now and everything looks good, if I'm doing a lot of this, and if I'm making a lot of variations through the day of looking down and looking up and looking down, everything's just gonna get lost in there. It's a big reason why I'm a huge advocate for primer. It literally glues everything in place and I don't ever have to worry about losing it, and this will literally last 8 hours long. I work at a car factory and I am doing a full beat a lot of the time just because I've come to a place where I cannot compromise who I am and my expression. At the same time, it is working out super well. I get lots of compliments on my makeup, and so many people, maybe some of you who are watching, have been asking for makeup tips on how to do something like this yourself. So anyways, if you are someone who's been looking for tips, tricks, and tutorials on how to do eyeshadow, I hope that this can help. I hope that this is even just an introduction into next steps. And thank you so much if you are someone who has been requesting these tutorials and just filling my cup every day, giving me compliments on my makeup and my expression. It's just something that I love. It helps make me feel like I glow. And something that I think is so important when people ask me why I do this every day is because it is having that morning ritual where I connect with myself every morning. And I take that moment to say, I'm the main character of my story. No one gets to dictate how I live my life. And I will always be on top, and I always have to be true to myself. And taking that morning ritual and doing this every day is the best way of making that commitment. Thank you guys so much for following along once again. I don't know what my next makeup video will be. Let me know if you have any questions. As I said, I might try and ask someone to do a collab with me who can kind of teach me and show me how to do a natural eye, and you guys can see me in the position of student as well. That might be fun. Otherwise, you will likely be expecting another episode of Small Town Mall Goth coming up sooner than later, hopefully. And until next time, make sure to keep your wings sharp, but your mind sharper. Ciao!